Um, my name is Celeste Cortez, and I am the mother of Pancho. Okay? This boy that some people have called the boy that was kept in Clinton's box. Some people call it the CPS box. Some people have referred to us as the key witnesses that was covered up in San Diego. Some has called us the Mexican Link. Some may refer to us as the boy that was kidnapped off Delta, because it's a doozy of a story. But the reason I'm making this film is because I told Delta I was. And, well, here I am. I said that I would put this up and dare Delta to sue me. Yeah, Delta Airlines to sue me. Because my son was kidnapped. A criminal kidnapping. And he was kidnapped off of Delta by Atlanta Airport Police, assisted by Delta Security and others. Now, Delta Security transported my son in chains. I think the Google, if I'm not mistaken, it's 6.5 miles, but y'all can Google it. Google how far it is from the Sheriff Department, Clayton County, to the airport in Atlanta. I'm pretty sure it's 6.5. I might be mistaken. I might be some other, and you know, I make a mistake, but it's somewhere near there. Alright? And they transported my boy with no order or nothing. Now, I'm going to sit here and tell you, I had custody of my son. And I'm going to argue that if I hadn't had custody of my son, the United States State Department probably would have put us on an airplane to Atlanta for the emergency medical evacuation. I got a desire to cough and I'm trying to fight it. Like I said, why did the U.S. State Department put us on an airplane to Atlanta? Well, let's say they were tricking us, you know, because us having dual citizenship, they really couldn't come down there and do anything, so they tricked us. Let's just play devil advocate. Let's say he was wanted, because they fish fact between wanted and then being a missing person and me having custodial interference. But, okay, first let's say he's wanted. He's a criminal. He was a delinquent wanted. Okay? Why was he not allowed to go to the hospital? Okay, because if he was given a emergency medical evacuation and he was that bad with his thyroid, which he was, why wouldn't you handcuff him to the bed or something? Okay? Well, we all know minorities, you know, and poor whites, you know, the class, poor, you know, what do you call it, the class, people of low class. You can get on that low class either by being poor white, looking a certain way, talking a certain way like I do. Okay, even if I was all white, which I ain't all white, probably can tell. But if I was all white and I talked like this, I'd probably be considered low class and wouldn't have no rights. Especially if I had like rotten teeth or, you know, a certain look, you know, to me to boot. You know what I'm talking about. Don't have no rights to go to the medical. We do have a right to extradition, don't we? Well, not Delta don't think so. Because they sure did it. But anyway, they take him to a freaking jail cell and hold him 2 days. He's never put in the computer. He's never took, intake never takes him as a juvenile, either in the delinquent court, nor is he taken as a, what do you call it, a dependent. You know, I kidnapped him, because they flip-flop. But we're still sticking to the warrant thing. Alright. Why didn't they put him in a computer? How in the hell is that possible that somebody could be held any amount of time in any prison with no charges, no paperwork, no nothing? All because an airport police said that I said, according to their story. So, the people at the jail decided to hold somebody because he said, she said, at their word. Now, most of the lawyers that I've talked to, they may not be willing to touch this because of what's behind it and the motive. But boy, they said this stinks. The U.S. Marshal says this stinks. I even got emails where I notified immediately the International Court of Hague. They told me this is criminal. Okay, because I didn't kidnap my kids. Okay, which we're going to get to that point. If their story's true, then I'm guilty of that. Whether Paco's a criminal or not. Because I was with him and I was helping him. Okay? Back to the jail. So after they hold him 2 days now, without being in the computer, without any charges, without any Georgia order, nothing. Not even California said, so we're going to hold a court. Nothing. Alright? All because this Atlanta police said that I said to do it. Yeah, bullshit. They wake him up to be chain tied, rather. What is it? Chain hog tied? What is it? Hog chained, I guess you'd call it. Hog chained. That's what we're going to call it. Hog chained. So they hog chain him. But first they got to wake him up, but he wouldn't wake up. So they poured water on him to try to get him up. Now the reason why he was struggling, he's about near in a coma from his thyroid. That's why it was on his way to the hospital, people, that you didn't give it to him. Okay? They get him away. They put him on a bus, chain hog, or hog chain, whatever you want to call it, and they drive him to the sheriff department, and the damn sheriff department, Clayton County, allows Delta Security to come and get him. Delta Security, and transport him to the freaking airport in chains. Well, first of all, I want to know how in the hell is that legal with an order or not? The only person that would have had the authority, if they had the appropriate order, which they didn't have because they didn't have no extradition hearing, they didn't have no ICPC package, nothing, because Delta, the juvenile system don't have no record of this, DFACS don't have no record of this. They do now because they took it as a report the other day, okay? But as of before, just a couple of days ago, nobody had no report of this. So here we are. Because of the say-so. So now you had the security of Delta coming to get this boy with no authority in chains because the Atlanta police told him to. And he said he told him to do it because he can't leave, I guess. But the security, I guess Delta gave permission to their security to go down there because of ICE, because he said that I said. So they get the boy down there and they put him in a jail cell with other kids, mind you. And this band comes from San Diego who claims to have custody of him. Not a police, nothing. They get him. And the Atlanta airport police walk him on the airplane. And my boy's sitting there saying he don't want to go. And all that. And they say they'll shoot him if he don't go. If they need to. And at one point, before they got to the shooting part, once they got almost to the airplane, they were saying if he started fighting before they got near the airplane, that's going to take him on a bus, on prisoners. They're going to put him on a bus with prisoners to San Diego. That's what they told him. So they start walking to the airplane, and then he keeps saying he ain't wanting to go. So then they said that he's going to have to, and if he started fighting, they was going to shoot him. So... go figure. And then once they got on the airplane, they said that there's a marshal was on the plane and pointed at this dude and said he'd shoot him if he fought from there out up in there. So they get to San Diego. And when he lands, because he ain't in chains by then, they took the chains off when they got him on the airplane and got the door shut. So when they land, Delta, thinking this is a illegal extradition, I guess. So anyway, these police show up to take him in custody and take him back to his cell again. And this person, Edwin Escobar, says, oh, it's a misunderstanding. And then police went away bamboozled, like, hey, what the, huh? And even the people on the airplane were kind of confused because when he was walked on, he was with chains. And then when he walked off, he wouldn't. And the whole time, these people telling him, you can go back to Mexico. Once we land, you can go back to Mexico. Alright, and that's a whole different story. Right now, we're focusing on, he did go back to Mexico. But right now, we're going to focus on what Delta participated and allowed and is not advocating for this to be fixed. Because if Delta got suckered, then Delta needs to do what's right. And the fact that they ain't doing what's right makes me think maybe they got paid. Because I'm going to tell you later on about who got paid that we know and actually has been arrested for paying a district attorney and being involved with some crooked meetings with a sheriff. Now that was in San Diego, but let's talk about in Atlanta. So if it was a warrant, where was his extradition hearing? When, who, and how? Because ain't nobody got no record of it. Alright? Then, after the extradition hearing, I'd like to know where the order is that got the governor's signature as required under extradition. Okay? I want to see the records or the license for Delta to have an extradition on their plane. Because if you look up extradition laws, you have to take certain classes, get licensed and all that. So I want to know if that flight was even licensed to do an extradition. And especially without no real U.S. Marshals, because according to the U.S. Marshals and the Sky Marshals, this shit didn't happen. Which reminds me, right? This reminds me. I was with him. Now, if he was wanted and a juvenile without and me not having custody, right? That would be a double no-no, because not only was I interfering with the custody part, he was a wanted fugitive and I was helping him. So why in the hell wasn't I arrested? Alright? And why weren't the U.S. Marshals called? Because we're talking international, me coming in from Mexico City with him. What is international custodial interference? That means when you ain't got custody. My rights ain't been terminated. I just don't have custody. Okay, my rights ain't been terminated. I just don't have custody. So the fact that he was with me, or I was with him on the airplane, that means I'm guilty of international custodial interference. If they're right, if they had custody, ever had custody, and even if they say they did they still have custody? Because believe me, they didn't. Because when he escaped, I reported his whereabouts, and Child Protective Services come and investigated, and I got all the papers to prove they knew it. And also the papers that are facts from San Diego. Oh, that's another illegal thing, but that's a whole other different topic, and that's San Diego. We're talking about Delta and airport police and their wrongdoing. Why wasn't I arrested? Okay? And if he wasn't wanted, which obviously he wasn't, because this warrant that they say happened just magically disappeared before he landed. Because them police in black uniforms didn't take him. They're just trying to get him to go back to Mexico. What the hell was that? He's American. Why you want to run him to Mexico? And why you got to do it this illegal way? I mean, a chain, what is a hog chaining to do it. Not the legal way. So let's just say it was a custody thing. That's what it was, and it was just a misunderstanding because of the chain. You know, the chain really threw everybody off. Okay? It was just a custody thing. Well, why wasn't he put in the system and done the right way through ICPC? It's interstate custody transfers. Yep, there's a legal way for everything. Not no good old-fashioned rendition, or as I've nicknamed it, a chain. Was that a hog chaining? Because it ain't tying, it ain't hog tying, it's hog chaining. You know what I mean? The chains where it comes down to your waist and your ankles and your, your hands connect to your waist to your ankles. Almost like a hog, except with chains. And you just, right. Can you believe this? Where was the ICPC? Because if that would have happened, first of all, I was supposed to be arrested, right, with felony international custodial interference. The U.S. Marshal was supposed to be called immediately, because you gotta read the requirements about that. A real one, not no faking. He was supposed to be the defects and held by protective custody. He was supposed to take him to the hospital because he wasn't in need of hospital, which was why we had the emergency medical evacuation. Relevant to whether custody and all that stuff. Okay? Let's just say it was true. He still was on the airplane for an emergency medical evacuation. DFAC should have took him. Now, if it was a custody thing and a warrant thing because he ran away and then I helped him, because it was a double whammy, okay, then maybe then you would put him in a juvenile system, but CPS would have been in the inner loop. Why wouldn't they notify? Hell, the juvenile court wasn't notified at all. In fact, they didn't know about this, allegedly, till just here a while back. Had no fucking clue. Go figure, right? And last but not least, if there was a U.S. Marshal, how come nobody knows who he is? Scout Marshal don't have no record. The U.S. Marshals don't have no records. Unless they some kind of marshal that nobody knows about except for them. Okay? I want to know the answer. Yeah, I speak like old backwood, what do you call it, class, low class something. And you can tell I'm mixed, right? And I got me a mixed boy that looks like he, ain't got no white in him and all that. But I am an American. I am a human being. And I have rights, alrighty? And there is a Constitution in the United States. And you have to follow it. And I want to know, what the hell, Delta? What the hell? If you don't think that's bad enough, let's talk about the condition my son was in and why. My son has got a 60-degree kyphosis, and he did back then. Might be actually worse. Let's go to the doctor again and see if it's worse than 60 degree. I'm talking really, really hunched back. He's got scoliosis. He's got loitus. He's got wedging disc. He's got 2 broken discs, osteoporosis, okay, and some kind of degenerating disc disorder from being kept in a box for the most part of 3 years till he got ricket. Now, go Google ricket. It's when you ain't getting no sunlight, okay? So not only did he not get to go to school, he didn't even get to see the sunlight. He's got whip marks, or whip scars rather, on his back. Dips, and the shoulder blade is so, when he does this number, it bulges out from where they would take him and just dig his knee in him and ram his back up like that. He started having liver problems in 2008 at 12 years old I have the list of massive, I mean like enough to kill a grown-up when he was 10. And the Department of Justice is already, you gotta read the agreement, they were illegal. We were telling them that this is what they had did to him. That this is who did this. To please not return him. Him begging and me begging and crying. And still, this illegal chaining back. Now, this is my point. Yes, there's a bunch of allegations being flown at both parts. That's why we needed a court. But the way this was done, let's put all the allegations behind, And I want you to imagine. Imagine I'm a professional child trafficker. And I know that the airport police does not follow the law. They don't give extradition hearings. No, they do it themselves. They don't follow no ICPC laws, nothing. If they want to, they'll hogtie you and give you back to whoever claims that they own you or have custody of you. Well, since I done figured that out, hell, and I'm a child trafficker, let's say, I could get on a Delta airline and pick out the person I want, look above their seat, and get their seat number. And let's say if I have my buddies in Delta, which we know all how organized crime works, and I get him to give me the name by the computer. And then I call my buddy in some kind of sheriff department that has access to that CI thing, CS something, that says you're wanted. And I put her in as missing or wanted, whatever, depending on the age she is, you know. And I call the Atlanta airport police and say, hey, on flight such and such coming in, and they're missing, or they're wanted. Depends on what age. If they're underage, let's say she's 17 and she's drop dead gorgeous, gonna make me a buckos of money. Yeah, she's a missing runaway. 17 years old. You pull her off. The mama or whoever's with her, no, something's wrong. And there's like, no, this ain't right. This ain't right. This is wrong. I gotta be being trafficked. They even, let's say they're smart and they figure it out. No, this is wrong. This is organized. This is right. They just telling everybody they're crazy. Yeah, we read she's been diagnosed delusional. Can you imagine? And the whole time you calling the police, I called 911, I called the FBI, I called everybody. Nobody would fucking believe this shit. Nobody believed it. It's called normal biasy. It's so out there and so wild, nobody believes it when you're calling and trying to get something done. Especially, you know, who's to say? Maybe if it had been white people, blonde hair, blue eyed, and didn't talk, and they didn't talk like I did on that 911 call, like, quote, what people think white trash is. Maybe it wouldn't happen. But who the hell knows? Maybe these cops really don't give a shit if you're, quote, white trash or low-class whites and, you know, or Hispanic or black. Maybe they just do this. This is how they do it. But if it is, we could even do a white person. I mean, I guess we could play it safe for a while and just do blacks and Hispanics. Or somebody that looks like poor white trash. You know what I mean? Because, you know, everybody knows with white people with a certain look. We know all them probably criminals. We know all Hispanics are probably criminals and blacks, Hispanic. You know what I'm talking about. Because if they did it with Paco, who's to say they won't do it with anybody else? Unless it didn't have nothing to do with just not following due process. Could they have been paid? Could they have been paid to do this? Well, the fact that some people who got arrested for paying Bonnie Dominguez $600,000 right after this meeting this money just started pouring in, and this meeting between them, people that got arrested for giving this illegal money to them, but nobody can figure out what they paid for. Met with Sheriff Bill Gore and Bonnie Dominguez just a few days after. I think it was March the 2nd. Just a few days after. Because that was like February the 26th. Let's just say 27, 28, 29, 30, 6 to 7 days. Let's see. January, February. Only got 30 months. I guess what? 6 days. 6 freaking days later. And money. Yep, $600,000. I wonder what Marco Polo Cortez paid for. We all wondering, could it be Paco's kidnapping? And if that's true, how much do the Atlanta airport police get? And what in the hell is this all about? Is that a can of worms that I got? Or better yet, I I can open. That nobody wants open? No, you tell me. Delta needs to find out. I think they got lawyers smart enough to find out. What I want the people that were involved in this kidnapping arrested. That's what I want from Delta and airport police. I want them to advocate and push for charges to be dropped. They got a right to court, unlike us. You know, they got a right to have their due process, unlike what they offered us. But I think they need to be charged with a criminal kidnapping, which it was. And hell, maybe even violation of civil rights under the color of law, because it was under their authority that did this. I don't know what the hell you're going to do with security, because they ain't no law enforcement. That was just purely out freaking kidnapping and detainment and what do you call it? I don't know, illegal detainment? I don't know. What the hell you call that? I'm still like, holy crap. How in the hell does this happen in the United States? And on a freaking, inside a freaking airport, and you begging and telling, you know, what happened to all these classes about reading the signs or picking the signs of being trafficked? No matter who you are, you know, remember the Georgia governor saying it don't matter who you are, the police, if the allegations are that they're trafficking, you had to stop it and investigate it immediately. And they teaching all these airport people how to pick up the signs of being trafficking. Hell, if you're begging, okay, and deformed and whips, and you sitting there telling, I mean, somebody all like this from, well, you can tell something happened to the damn back, and they're just sitting there telling you all this stuff and telling you, and got United States State Department that says emergency medical evacuation. If you can't get to the hospital and you can't get it stopped and you begging them, what the fuck is up with Delta? And then them to let this be done on their fucking airplane. I want to know what the fuck's up. Delta has got a lot of explaining to do, and I want them to explain it. If they think I'm slandering them, sue me. Sue me. Let's go to court. But remind you, I can countersue. Don't need no damn lawyer, because all I got is hard fucking proof. Alright? Hard proof. Sue me if you think I'm slandering you. Alright? And if you know I ain't slandering you, do something. Because if not, dude, there's no fucking hope for this country. Trump ain't even gonna be able to fix this. Because if we're able to do this and nothing's done, maybe when the U.S. attorney that he puts in and all these military people that he puts in, maybe because of what all it's tied to or what it's covering up, maybe then we'll get some justice. And Delta needs to wake up, because if that happens, Delta's gonna have a shitload of explaining, not only to the internet world, not only to me, but probably to the military and the fucking U.S. attorneys that Trump puts in. Because this shit is not going away, okay? This shit is not going away. We might end up in a revolution because of all this shit, because of what all it's tied to. But this shit is not going away.